We also want to look at a court proceeding that is taking place in Michigan, where a judge has ordered 3 men to stand trial in the alleged kidnapping plot against Governor Gretchen Whitmer last year. Joining me now is the Attorney General of Michigan, Dana Nessel. Thank you so much, Madam Attorney General, for your time. I want to begin with the very latest in this alleged kidnapping plot and the upcoming trial. What more can you tell us about it?
Well, the state has charged 8 people in regard to this event. There are another 6 people that were charged by federal authorities, but we've had preliminary examinations for 3 of these men. They have been bound over to trial on a number of charges. There'll be another 5 defendants that go to preliminary exam in another county in the next week.
What is the allegation specifically in terms of the extent of the plot that you have documented that you're going to make the case for?
Well, the allegations are that there was a concerted plot to kidnap and later to execute the governor, and that there were a number of people that were involved and associated in this effort, and that they engaged in domestic terrorist-like activity. They provided material support for a terrorist act. They have engaged in gang-related activities, and that they used firearms illegally to do so. So there are a number of different counts against a number of different actors. We feel comfortable and we feel confident in our case.
You recently testified, Madam Attorney General, before a congressional panel that Michigan's laws may provide a model for changes that need to be made on the federal level to address the rise of domestic extremism. What are the most critical steps that you think the federal government needs to take on?
Well, honestly, what we know to be the case is that domestic terrorism actually poses a much greater threat to our nation now than international or foreign terrorism. We just simply don't have the laws on the book to address it, though. We do in Michigan, though, fortunately. And shortly after 9/11, we passed the Michigan Anti-Terrorism Act. And there are a number of components there that allow us to really tenaciously and aggressively pursue those that seek to do harm to the United States government or to government officials or to engage in terrorist-like activity that is homegrown here in our backyard. The federal authorities simply don't have the same ability to do that because they don't have domestic terrorism laws like we do here in this state. And I think that the nation needs to emulate what we have here in Michigan that allows us to pursue these types of activities by passing something federally.
You're probably also seen Michigan Congresswoman Elissa Slotkin say that she is weighing whether or not the U.S. needs a domestic terrorism czar. Do you believe there is a need for such a role? Are you at all concerned that perhaps having, these types of laws and a domestic terrorism czar might be rubbing up against civil liberties that are on the borderline of free speech? Someone talking about doing something to the government is different than somebody actually doing something against the government.
So I absolutely believe we have to have a measured approach. And I will tell you that we have a very large Arab American population here in the state of Michigan, in the Metro Detroit area. And what we saw post 9/11 was really some abuses by the federal government and a lot of people who had nothing to do with terrorist activity that were harassed by the government. So we don't want to see that again, for sure. But we sure have to do something. I mean, we have a problem here in Michigan and across the United States with domestic terrorism. The threat is real, it's legitimate, and we are facing a lot of potentially very serious catastrophic acts if we don't do something. So I do agree with Congresswoman Slotkin that we have to do something. We have to do more. We have to put more funding into this. And we have to have more personnel. And states like mine certainly, we need more resources in order to be able to properly tackle the problem that we have here in our state and also, unfortunately, in states all across the United States.
All right, Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel, thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.